don't have a choice. The best thing we can do to not, the law says we have to charge her, it doesn't say we have to put her in jail. Okay, but it also says we have to separate through a no contact order, and we have to put her in jail if we cannot separate. And the little problem here is you guys out of Florida living in the van together. How are we supposed to separate her guys? Now I don't want to take this small 20, what is she?
Yes, a 22-year-old
blonde hair,
jail.
You could definitely defend yourself against, but at the same time, we can't say because you're a male and she's a female, we can't treat this different than if you were the male hitting her. We got to treat it the same.
Yeah, no.
So she's kind of in a tough spot. So unless you have an idea about how she could not go to jail and be separated, do you have friends in town? Somewhere she could stay? Tomorrow, if you want to, it's up to you. You can
go to jail?
You can't because we don't have a charge for you. Now tomorrow, if you wanted to be with her again tomorrow,
I'm going to take your radio.
if you want to be with her again tomorrow, because it's after 5.
Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, Analyses, Part 6. We now pause at the 26th minute and the 26th second. The second police officer has been going through the options as Brian Laundrie flippantly asks, "Can I go to jail?" Demonstrates a lack of accountability for the situation. The first police officer tells him that he's not done anything wrong, and Brian Laundrie, again fueled, laughs, talking about taking the radio. The lack of boundary recognition, sense of entitlement, the cockiness of the fact that his narcissism has managed to enable him to assert control over the individuals that are in front of him, and to enable him to receive fuel. Note, once again, he expresses no concern or interest with regard to Gabby Petito. Contrast that with Gabby Petito's earlier admissions of, "I distracted him. I'm sorry I was mean. It was a rough morning." She is taking accountability for her behaviours. He is not.
Close. You can go to the police department and fill out a waiver to drop the no contact order so you guys can still be together, which is going to have a court date online. She's going to have to show up for a court date online and answer it. The prosecutor might drop it. She might say, for example, if you're not willing to pursue it, that's your decision.
I was going to say, it definitely is. I'm not going to pursue anything. She's not going to say I love her. It's a problem. I'm sorry that I had to get so public. So I just want to get like the checklist of things I got to do to get rid of it. So there's an online court date.
Well, she'll get a paper with a court date.
How do I get rid of it?
Well, the court date has to be attended in order for them to decide whether they need to continue or drop it. First, it's just an initial appearance to say, "Are you who we think you are?" Yes. Do you understand the charges been brought against you? Yes or no? Yes or no, the answer. Do you have an attorney? Yes or no, do you need one? And then from there, she can ask to speak with the prosecutor. The prosecutor might be contacting you and say, "Hey man, I know she's 110 pounds soaking wet and you're a big strong guy, and we understand you're not even wanting to pursue this, but the cops have to follow the statute. How, we're in the interest of you, of justice for you, the victim, what do you think?" And they can decide to still prosecute her, or they can decide to drop her, or they can decide to give her a plea and make it kind of go away and she behaves somehow. But that still does not eliminate the first court appearance that she has to attend, which thankfully for you guys is going to be online. So you don't have to. So if you're out of town, here's the thing: if you're out of town and she doesn't come into a court appearance online, they can suspend her driver's license, they can issue a warrant for her. So she needs to play ball.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And we're her team. Me and her and her team. I'm sorry about all this. I apologize again. But so she's got her online court date. Just acknowledge that she's hurt, and then she's got one for the.
Well, there's automatically right now there's something called a no contact order in place.
Yeah.
From this point forward until tomorrow, if you wish to drop it, you have to go to the 217 East Center Street, Moab City Police Department.
I've got all the papers.
And you have to ask them to give it to you. You want to fill out a waiver that you're requesting a waiving of the contact order, no contact order. No contact order means she cannot come into contact with you, she cannot talk to you, she cannot text you, she cannot go onto any premises you're occupying, she cannot go to your vehicle. And until you drop that, or until a court date, if you don't drop it, it'll stay in effect until midnight on the day of court. And then that gives you time to get protection, protective order, a long-term one if you feel like you need one. But it sounds like you don't even want this one. So tomorrow, they open at 8, you can go into the police department, you can fill out the waiver, they can remove it, then you can say, "Hey babe, where you at? Let me pick you up." And you pick her up. Now, we're hoping not to put her in jail, but if she doesn't have somewhere to go tonight, to be separate from you, then where are we supposed to
I can't talk to her now because it's separation,
there's
right?
no contact over there.
So tell me this. So do you guys have enough money for like a hotel room or anything like that? Because what we could do is we'd cite her for this, and then I'd give her a ride over to whatever hotel you guys is choosing.
Pick her up there tomorrow if you
And
want to know what
On your way to go pick her up, you stop over there at the PD, sign the paperwork that they're requesting, and then you can go pick her up quite literally within minutes.
Unless you know someone else in town that's a friend that you can stay with.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately not. I don't, and I guess that...
Man, I sure hate to... I don't want her to go to jail.
Will it be... If she goes to jail, it's like, that goes down somewhere instead of her going to a hotel, right? If you did a citation, it would be...
It kind of depends. So if she goes to jail, they're going to book her, and they'll take her fingerprints, and go on her criminal history, and then if they don't convict her, then it will just show that it was dismissed. It'll show up in her criminal history, but the charge was dismissed. If she was found guilty, it'll show up that she was guilty of domestic assault. But the charge itself will show up on her criminal history until she gets the expunged. Now, even if we give her a ticket, we're still going to take a fingerprint, and it's still going to show up. Either way, it's still going to show up. There's no way around a Class A. Or is this a Class B?
This is Class B.
But they do require a fingerprint on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
The other part is if you contact her or she contacts you, she could be charged with a Class A.
Well,
which is a little bit different, but it doesn't help us.
If you were to contact her and she responds to you, then she could get a new charge for violating her contact. No contact order doesn't restrict you, it restricts her. So if you go talk to her and we find out and you're not in trouble, she'll be in trouble. So you need to be interested. That all make sense? No, I'm getting...
We pause at 30 minutes and 57 seconds. The second police officer and the first police officer have explained the process and that there's effectively going to be a no-contact arrangement. Brian Laundrie has explained he doesn't want to pursue the charges and he doesn't want Gabby Petito to go to jail. This might appear as if he's being compassionate and having emotional empathy for her, but since he's a narcissist, he doesn't have any compassion. It's only false compassion. He doesn't have any emotional empathy. It would only be cognitive. And this exhibits false compassion and also facade management, again being done to demonstrate control directly over the two police officers and indirectly by triangulation in relation to Gabby Petito.
I'm getting it all.
It's a lot, really quickly.
No, I'm getting it all. I'm just trying to figure out a way through it.
You don't know anyone in town? You guys been around long?
No, I don't know anyone in town. If she went...
I don't think CK will take her to see the aggressor.
No.
There's a women's shelter.
I'm curious.
You can find out. Say, she doesn't have where to go.
If you did the citation, say she drove off in she could drive off in this car.
We could give you a ride somewhere.
I got my backpack. Sucks for you.
I got my backpack. You can spend the night. You want to drive me to Delicate Art?
Does she have a good driver's license?
She does have a driver's license, yeah.
Something with your vehicle?
Yeah, she can help.
Well, then you'd kind of be homeless for the night.
And man, I can't talk to her at all.
Well,
and I've got to do the thing so I can't go camping.
We can tell her what it is that she needs to do to get through all this and then let her know what the plan is.
Here's the problem though. If we take you up to Delicate Arch, you're going to be hoofing it from Delicate Arch all the way down to Moab Center Street so that you can fill out that paperwork, because if you're not there by noon tomorrow, you're going to be looking at Monday morning.
It's early on Friday.
Yeah. You'd be looking at Monday morning before you could actually see her again.
And again, we're not trying to make your life hard. This is written in statute. There's nothing
a lot of
about it. It's designed to protect victims of domestic assault. Not everybody's the same. This is different than normal, but we have to treat everything the same. And that's how it is.
You can't afford a hotel?
No. Very little money we have for sure.
You want me to? I'll call CK then.
See if CK will take you for the night.
I'll see if they'll take either one of them, because then we can figure it out.
This is the
CK
women's
would take
shelter.
me? Oh.
Actually, CK will take him as a victim of domestic assault. CK will take him, and they will help you tomorrow.
And you're...
We pause at 32 minutes and 46 seconds. Brian Laundrie has suggested that Gabby Petito can drive away, and he could get a lift from the police. The facade is maintained. He's receiving positive fuel. Control is being maintained. And because he has the control, because he is viewed as the victim of the assault, because the police officers and park rangers are being sympathetic to him, he has control, he's receiving positive fuel, which enables him to continue to joke and laugh about a situation where his fiancée, the lady that he supposedly loves, is sat upset and distressed in another police vehicle. His lack of concern and emotional empathy for her is entirely transparent. And of course, we know further how that turned out to be and manifested.
A block and a half away from the Petito.
Let's see if CK will take him, because they didn't take a guy, but they got a hotel for a guy last time.
Yeah, I'll do that.
CK might get you a hotel. Now, what she does...
I'm happy sleeping outside in a sleeping bag.
No,
we don't want that.
I think CK will get you a hotel. If you want her to have the van, we don't care. It's up to you. But... I don't know.
Yes, this is Officer Robbins with Moab City Police Department. How you doing this afternoon? Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So I just did a domestic, and the male is going to be our victim. Is there any way that you can help us set him up with a place to stay tonight? Okay. 1099, yeah. Yes, please. Thank you. Well. Alright. So, the after hours guy isn't there at their office right now. He's gonna run from his house over there, and we're gonna get you all lined up. Don't worry about it, this is the phone call that they wait on. So don't feel like you are making anybody do anything extra on your behalf. So, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. I'm not wanting to take her and book her or anything like that.
No, I really, really appreciate it.
And I know how rough this stuff can be. Like I said, I've been married for 5.5 years. You know, believe me, if I were to say that me and my wife haven't had our share of spouts, I'd be lying to you. She lives with anxiety. I live with a woman
No,
who
both of
has
us are
anxiety.
really...
I know. Her anxiety elevates my anxiety. And sometimes it
that's why I'm like, I gotta walk away, I gotta breathe, I'm looking to backfire even then, you know, but...
I'm not going to try to sit here and give you life advice.
Yeah.
You've been on this road for almost as long as what I have. There's nothing I can tell you that's going to really make a difference, but at the end of the day, I'm sorry that this has happened. I'm sorry that it went to this extent.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We pause at 35 minutes and 10 seconds. Arrangements have been made for Brian Laundrie to have overnight and accommodation, and he's been told about this. Control is maintained, he receives positive fuel. The police officer tells him, "Don't think you are making anybody do anything extra." Again, positive fuel, signalling control. Brian Laundrie expresses his appreciation, facade management. The police officer explains, "I know how rough this stuff can be. I've been married for 5 years." He exhibits that Brian Laundrie still has control over him and provides him with yet more positive fuel, and this results in Brian Laundrie exhibiting that hollow laugh once again. The police officer expresses his sorrow that all of this has happened, positive fuel by way of his sympathetic nature. Noticed by this stage that Brian Laundrie is now leaning nonchalantly against the van, chatting and in effect shooting the breeze with the police officer. He's able to do this because his narcissism recognises that control has been maintained with the police officer, with the park ranger, that there are no threats to control, that they are being helpful towards him, sympathetic towards him, saying that he's the victim, and therefore Gabby Petito remains off the radar, hence he never asks about her, expresses concern about her well-being or wanting to arrange things. It's all about Brian Laundrie. It's the Brian Laundrie show, and he's the star, leaning against the van, chatting away with the police officer as if they were old friends. Again, his narcissism is rampant, but of course, to the untrained eye, they wouldn't spot any of this, and hence the advantages that you have by way of my expert analysis.